And once again, I think when you give into that thought, into that mindset, you're kind of not validating what they're saying, but like, why are you having an argument? Because it wasn't even about that. It was about her boobs. It was about her boobs. It was not about her jeans. It wasn't about her eyes. It was about her body, her physical body. They could have done the same thing with like a hot black woman, a hot Asian woman, a hot Indian woman, a hot Latina woman, a hot woman from Mars. Like, they would have done the same. It would have been the exact same joke. Okay, so that's what I don't get it.
Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy.
Hi, hey, hi. I am Mal, your gal pal, and you're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. Grab yourself some tea. We are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. I kept that because multiple people have told me they really like it. That's the OG. I kind of wanted to move away from it just because, like, I don't know, I kind of did, but everybody likes it, so whatever. I do the show not for me, but for you. I mean, I do it for me in the sense I like talking and it's fun to just get my thoughts out, but it's really for you, not for me. Couple things. It's a solo Mal episode. It's just me today. And this is the first episode in August. Really excited because I got some fun things going on in August. If you're new to the show, welcome. Welcome to, this is what we call a Teacap. So this is where I'm going to, myself and sometimes friends, we go over topics, but interesting topics that were on the news this week, and just kind of give like the Christian conservative perspective of it. So today we're going to be talking about the T-app that technically that was like more of a last week issue, but whatever. I haven't got a chance to talk about it. Sydney Sweeney. I mean, I'm almost fatigued of it, but I haven't been able to like express my thoughts, so I must express them. And then a new Venmo feature that I am shocked they have now, and you're going to be shocked too. You're going to be shocked too. So these are just some of the topics we're talking about this week. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow however you're listening to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon, wherever you're listening. No longer Google Podcasts. I found out Google Podcasts is no longer a thing. But if you're listening, wherever you're listening, subscribe. Please. You'll love it. You're going to love this podcast, and make sure you share it with all your friends. Okay, so let's go over a couple announcements before we get into it. We have much to discuss. First announcement, Fourth Wing. So did a poll, and everyone said that the book for the summer should be Fourth Wing. I'm almost through it. Lots of thoughts. This book is thick, okay? So it's thick. I'm going to be doing an oops spoilers, and then I'm thinking I might even do like a Zoom call because multiple people suggested Fourth Wing, and a lot of people have read it. I think it'll be fun to read. It's definitely, yeah, it's not bad. Like, I don't feel like disgusting reading it. It's entertaining. It's thick. It is long. I've been at this for quite some time. So I'm almost done though. I think I have like 5 hours left or something like that. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Fourth Wing almost done, and then when I'm done, I'll do an oops spoiler, and then we'll come up with a time. Ideally, be in August. It was supposed to be just in June, and then we're going to do one in July, and then we'll do one for August. But no, the thickest book. Let me look up real quick how many pages Fourth Wing is. Really quick. Fourth Wing page count. Okay. The Entangled. Okay. Of course. All right. So hardcover, 500 to 518 pages. What does that? No idea what that means. Kindle edition, 655 pages. Hardcover Pecos is 498 pages. Listening to it is 21 hours, okay? No. The average book is like 10, maybe 12. Like one of the books we've read for my personal book club that my friend started, the max was like 12 hours, and that was, yeah. So everyone, this 21-hour book is a thick one. It's a thick one. And if you haven't already read it, go ahead, head over to Libby. Like I said, I would go to that account. I've shared it before. The account that does there is a spicy thing. You just fast forward it. There's only really been one spot. Well, I'll share my thoughts on that in a little bit. Some of you who suggested it. Okay, so that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2. 5-year anniversary. I cannot believe I've been doing this for 5 years. That is insane. The 5-year anniversary is coming up on August 24th, and we're doing a 5-year anniversary party at Hestia in Valentine. It's a rooftop, super cute. The vibes are pink and red, and it's gonna be a blast. And honestly, we're just like celebrating 5 years of the podcast. Like, you don't have to be like a major like podcaster person to come. It's just honestly, it's just a fun time to get together. That is August 24th. Hope to see you there if you live in the Charlotte area. If you don't live in the Charlotte area and you're in the Charlotte area during that time, please come. Message me. Let me know. VP, just let me know on the website, thosearethegirls.com/events. Okay, last announcement. Now August starts this new series that I'm doing. It is called Other Girlies in the Office. My idea behind this is talking about how do we, as Christian women who are working, how do we work fruitfully? How do we work set apart? How do we do this and honor God? Also, how do we practically do this? The Christian aspect, honoring God, but how do we practically do this? A lot of podcasts are talking about women not working and homeschooling / being stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives. Nothing wrong with that. If you are able to do that, like, God bless you. I'm jealous. But some of us have to work. Some of us aren't even married. So we have to provide for ourselves. So what options, what things do we have for that? We don't get a lot of that. I'm going to insert the trailer for the new series. Here we go. Welcome to Other Girlies in Cubicles. This series are for Christian girlies showing up in boardrooms, break rooms, and beige office chairs. We're living a set-apart life in a world that wants us to blend in. Let's be real, no one really talks about what it's like to be a Christian woman in the workspace. How do we carry our confidence in these spaces and we still want to thrive? Whether you're clocking in your 9 to 5 or dreaming of something more, this is your space to talk work, worth, and walking boldly in your calling. Because like Martin Luther said, the Christian shoemaker does his duty not by putting little crosses on shoes, but by making good shoes, because God is interested in good craftsmanship. Your work matters and how you show up matters. And yes, we can still be set apart, even in cubicles. Okay, so super excited. I can't wait for you guys to hear some of the amazing guests that I have. All right, this episode is brought to you by The Pink Rose, which is my jewelry store. It is designed for women, and as you can see, I'm wearing the necklace and the earrings, and these pieces are great for work, like we're going to be talking about. These pieces are great for work. They are minimalistic, and they just add this extra sense of style. Even if you're in something that's a little bit more professional and you want to showcase your style, The Pink Rose has amazing jewelry for you. Whether you're headed into a meeting or just looking to add a little sparkle in the cubicle life, The Pink Rose is here. I have a code for everyone called OtherGirls10 for 10% off at shopthepinkrose.com. And yeah, okay. Are we ready to get into the stories? Everyone grab your cup. And for those who are new to the show, we always clink before we get into the stories. Okay. This is brought to you by Yahoo Finance. Get ready. You can now Venmo the U.S. Treasury to help pay down the national debt. I'll say it again because I'm sure you're like, wait, what? You can now Venmo the U.S. Treasury to help pay down the national debt. Under the Gifts to Reduce the Public Debt section on pay.gov, the U.S. Treasury now accepts payments via Venmo and PayPal, in addition to debit cards, credit cards, and bank transfers. The update was spotted by NPR's Jack Corbett, who shared a screenshot on the new payment options via X, but the article says X, but we call it Twitter over here, on July 23rd. The post quickly went viral, racking up millions of views from users, many of whom were not impressed. I'm not impressed. That's crazy. I actually heard someone talking about it on another podcast, and I was like, that can't be true. Looked it up myself. I'm like, oh, must discuss on this podcast. So, I mean, it's not even really anything to discuss other than like, okay, that's kind of crazy. You can now contribute to the US debt. I mean, you know what? You guys, if you have the money, I guess why not? Would I want an itemized list of where exactly my money is going to? Just saying it's going to the debt. Isn't enough for me? Sure, absolutely. But I mean, at this point in US history, US-ness or whatever, this is okay. I feel like it's just one of those like, okay, this is what they want. Okay. That was just more of letting you guys know. What do you think? Do you think that the US government asking us to pay for the debt is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you trust it? I mean, to me, like, that's my concern now. Like, you guys are not known for managing money. And now I'm going to be giving you more that, like, I'm already giving you money, So I don't know, like, don't get me started on taxes and how it affects my personal life. Ugh, don't get me started. So it's also kind of like, I've already given you money. I'm not going to give you more. And sorry to that man. I will say though, like, if you are sitting comfortably and you feel as if this is something that like you can help, I mean, I guess do it. Not me. Once again, sorry to that man, but yeah. Next story. The story is brought to you by the New York Post. This is something that I think we'll all be talking about much more. The Teacap. Divisive new app lets women put bad dates on blast, and men are freaking out. They're calling it digital deism. There's a new app causing men to break into a cold sweat, and it's not because they forgot their wallet on the first date. That's funny. T, a woman-only app that lets users post anonymously Yelp-style reviews of men they've dated, has shot to the top of the Apple App Store, the smack into the middle of the digital war, safety, and slander. The platform launched in 2023, lets women share stories and warnings and exes, Tinder flops, and potential predators. Users can toss out green flags or red flags, or in some cases, blast a guy's entire romantic resume into cyberspace. The feed is full of candid commentary, catfish alerts, and more than a few avoid this man declarations. T's website claims the app was born after the founder, Sean Cook, a man, might I add you, interesting, witnessed his mother's terrifying experience with online dating, not only being catfished, but unknowingly engaging with men who had criminal records. And now boasts nearly 1 million users, and it's not just the safety features like reverse image search and criminal background checks that are turning heads. The public reviews are what really set the app ablaze. Okay, couple of things. So another update for those that don't know is somehow someone was able to get the driver's license and pictures and things like that from users who downloaded the app, I believe, prior to 2024. So if you downloaded the app, uploaded a picture, your driver's license, all that stuff, they were able to hack it and get that information and then put it on 4chan, which scary place, scary place. 4chan, would not go there if I were you. And yeah, and then I was listening to another podcast. They said they're ranking the girls that were in the app or whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the app. Let's talk about all of this. Talk about the whole dating and blah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of fatigued with the whole dating conversation for a myriad of reasons. The adding the T app kind of gives it a new life. So, for those who do not know, this app really kind of came into play, started with the concept of, are we dating the same guy? Facebook groups. Now, these Facebook groups are Facebook groups where you can post a picture of a guy and do one of two things. You can post him and say, this gentleman, I just went on a date with him and he assaulted me. He did this thing to me. This is his first name. Beware. Or you could post a picture of a guy and be like, hey, I'm seeing this guy. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Like, I'm getting like a weird gut sensation, or we're supposed to go on a date and I just want to make sure, is anyone else dating him, type of thing. The purpose of these Facebook groups the real intention behind them is to protect women. Is, sometimes, I mean, men, once again, I've said this on the podcast all the time, don't hate men, love men. Would love a man of my own. But let's deal in realities here. Some men are different from women. Men, most of the time, most, not all, of course, exceptions to the rules, most of them are stronger than women. And sometimes women do have to protect themselves from bad men. Sometimes women are at a disadvantage. That's just the fact of the matter. That's just how it is. Sorry if that's offensive. Actually, I'm not sorry that it's offensive. I'm sorry that you can't look past that it's offensive. Okay. So, this is the fact of the matter. So the Facebook groups were really just supposed to help women out. Now, because we live in a fallen world. I've been saying that a lot lately in regards to a myriad of things. But, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Because we live in a fallen world, the Facebook groups can get a little toxic, for lack of a better word. Let me explain. I'm in the Charlotte. I'm actually in 2 for my city. And I've seen people post like dating this guy NET, and then someone will comment, we dated like in the 8th grade and his whole family's messed up and blah blah blah, blah, blah. And just like airing out people's business, and it's like, whoa, slow down. So I've seen that, okay? And I do see how it can be a little toxic. Or someone will post someone and it's simple things like, oh, he never texted back, which, yes, that sucks, okay? That really sucks, but that's not like, to me, that's not something like something you would tell. It sucks, but it's just not something that you would go and tell like a group of people, put their picture out, put their information out. To me, the only thing it should be really used for is assault. I don't think that, someone ghosting you, that sucks. Been ghosted before, that sucks, but that's not, I wouldn't, and he ghosted me, like, that's immature. I think that's just, and unfortunately, some of these things are just part of dating now. It sucks. We don't have to accept it in the sense of like, we don't have to sit here and he ghosted you and you think that it's okay. When I say you don't have to accept it, but like, there is some level of like, this is how dating is. Know the game, play the game, or don't play the game. That's just how it is. So it has turned into things like, he ghosted me, he this and that. And then here's the fact of the matter too. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but we don't know if people are telling the truth. Sometimes we can think someone's being honest about their experience with a man when really they weren't. That's something too. So yikes. So yeah, so that is really what's going on with the T app with, are we dating the same guys? So my thoughts are in general on the T app. I have multiple thoughts. Let's go one direction. So I was actually I talked to a couple guys. I have like a couple guys I can ask questions to. And we were discussing the app, and like, one of the guys made a very good point that I want to piggyback off of because I completely agreed. He said something along the lines of like, the idea, like, I wouldn't even date someone who would even participate in something like that. And that's something I've been thinking too. Like, I don't think, because another one of my male friends was like, well, imagine if it was reversed. And I'm like, I can't imagine being with someone that would even want to do that. And then to me, if someone posted and people were making comments, good or bad, I would be like weary. I like, it would give me the ick. They would even consider like taking someone's advice, like, so if, for the men listening, if you were posting on there, I mean, it's easier said than done, but like, I don't think you would want a girl that would post about you anyway. I don't know. I just, it gives me like, the idea just gives me the ick. Like, I wouldn't want to. I can't even imagine the type of guys that I like. I can't even imagine them like even being interested in something like that. That's just unfathomable, really, to me. And I think that it feels like it's like a different, now, I'm not one I have a friend, I mean, every week homegirls on a date. Actually, I have 2 friends like that. Every week they're on a date. Hey, I'm not knocking them. If anything, I'm jealous. I'm happy they're able to do that. I think that, that maybe like, well, even then, like, I feel like you shouldn't be accepting dates from someone that you would think that you would even have to ask about. That's the other thing. I think that's what it is. Like, why are you even accepting dates from people who you would think that you would have to ask about? I don't know. That's one direction of it. And then the other direction of it, I think, is just gives to this like credence of just how terrible dating is, for lack of a better word, how terrible dating is in 2025 and how we just don't trust each other. Another gentleman I was talking with, he made a good point too, that like we don't do a good job of like using discernment and like observing people and like, okay, this is someone I want to date. Let me actually watch how they handle this situation. Let me see how they interact with their friends. And this is something I didn't think of. He came up with this idea. And let me watch how he's interact for the girl. Let me watch how he's interacting with his friends. Let me see how he handles this situation. Oh, his mom called. Let me watch and observe how he's talking with his mom. I think we like, especially Christian girls my age, I'm constantly having to remind myself, like, take your time. I think we get so caught up in like, and I'll speak for Christian women, like we get so caught up in like wanting to be married. For me, a huge thing is like I really wanted kids, and timeline, eggs, blah blah blah. So that's always in the back of your mind. So you kind of are like speed. It feels like sometimes you speed run things. And I think we get really caught up in that. We get caught up in like not really getting to know the person, which is why I'm telling you, oh, every day on Twitter, every day on stuff like this, I cannot tell you how happy and blessed I am to be abstinent. I cannot imagine how awful it must be to be sleeping around right now. I mean, ladies, be abstinent. Abstinent is best, okay? Let me tell you. I'm seeing the stuff out here, not liking it, not liking it. I think we all as a culture, we jump into things before you jump into the bed with someone. You jump into emotional, this is what the Christian does. You get really emotional with someone. This is a conversation starter, and let me know what you think if you're listening. There was a thing going around about how you should not necessarily pray with someone while you're dating. And you're like, what? Why not pray together? Well, prayer is kind of intimate. Prayer is kind of something that like it's an intimate time with you and God. It's something that you're like you don't want to get all those things tangled up for the Christian girl. So that's just something. So like we're doing all these things a little quick, a little fast, when really we should be taking our time. Now, I don't believe in like, personally, I don't believe 2-3 years. That's crazy. But I think that we just jump into things like way too quick. That is definitely an issue in our culture. So yeah, the T app. Sorry to the girls that were exposed, and sorry to the guys. I'll also say sorry to the guys that like may not have like there was a viral video of a guy. He said that his homegirl showed him he was on the app, and one of the comments was like that he seems kind of gay. What's the point of posting that? Like that's not okay. Like that's why how who does that help? That's not contributing at all to the conversation. Not So I'm sorry to men like that too. Like if people posting slanderous things about you, or now, if you were an assaulter and people found out, couldn't care less. Like you're what you sow. But if you weren't an assaulter and people think you are, that's sad. I'm sorry for that. Okay, next story. Let's see here. Next story is something else that went pretty viral. Another thing I've been wanting to share my opinion on. Something that everyone and their grandmother's talking about, something that I'm kind of fatigued of, but I'm glad we're talking about. Sydney Sweeney. This article is from people.com. Sydney Sweeney's controversial American Eagle ad explained. Sydney Sweeney's new American Eagle ad is sparked a heated debate over its perceived messaging. The tagline of the campaign, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, has prompted critics to claim that the usage of the word genes as a play on genes is racially charged and hints at genetic superiority. Others are slamming the campaign for catering to the male gaze and taking inspiration from Brooke Shields' controversial 1980 campaign. Meanwhile, others feel the reaction to the campaign is overblown and unfounded. Despite, or perhaps because of the controversy, American Eagle stock increased 10% in just a few days, adding more than $200 million to the group's value per Vanity Fair. Let's listen to this ad really quick. This controversial ad.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney as Great Jeans.
Okay, so that is the ad that is going viral right now. And an update. Well, I'll get to the update later. So that's the ad going viral right now. My thoughts. I initially saw the ad and went, offspring, because I'm sorry, the way she says it is kind of funny. Okay, hey, I can laugh, kind of funny. Offspring. I thought that, and then I thought, wow, her boobs. Those are some big boobs. Because that's really, I think, the point of the ad. I was kind of shocked that people were saying that it was racist. Like their ideas, the genes and eugenics and blah 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 blah. That's what people are arguing. I did not get that at all. The word jeans, Jeans, and jeans, Genes, sound the same. So it's a double entendre. For those that do not know, sorry. So that's what I thought the joke was. And then, it zooms in on her beautiful body. That's the other thing too. Let's be honest with ourselves. She has a nice body. Say what you want to say. Make your comments. She has a nice body, and those are the genes they're talking about. Elephant in the room. She has huge boobs. Okay, all right. Now, what is just so annoyingly crazy to me is just how this has spiraled. I mean, it started off. I think most people, because I've shared it with some other friends that are left of center, and they didn't really see that big of a deal of it. And they were just kind of like, oh, it's just most people just think it's just about like her boobs. Like that's what she's pigeonholed herself in that role to be about her body, to be sexualized. And, we talked about the bathwater thing on the podcast with her. So, it is what it is. So that's what I thought the whole thing was about. And, whatever, like, kind of sexual. Also, American Eagle is not for me. I've never worn American Eagle. American Eagle doesn't market toward me. American Eagle doesn't even want me as a customer. Like, I don't care. Like, that's the other thing, too. I think people are not realizing, like, sometimes brands aren't targeting you, and that's okay. Like, that's not that big of a deal. So, yeah. So, I started off, everybody just casual about it. And then, jeans, genetics, blonde hair, blue eyes. People started panicking, and I think that's really crazy. I think that's really crazy to jump to that conclusion, because then it also gets me thinking, like, that when I tell you that never crossed my mind, and now it starts gets me thinking, is that what you think? Is that why you're saying it? Like, did you think blonde hair and blue eyes is good genetics? And now you're thinking everybody else is thinking that? Like, it never crossed my mind. The blonde hair, blue eyes, good genetics, good genes, that was crazy. And then, so that's the other side. Okay. And then now, conservative. And or Republican. Remember, everyone, we learned conservative and Republican does not equal Christian. Remember, we've learned this on this podcast. That's why we say Christian conservative, because conservative and Republican does not equal Christian. So then you got these conservative Republican commentators. Well, she's just so hot. We got someone hot on our side. They're mad and jealous because Sydney Sweeney's hot. It's not okay to be white. Is it not okay to be white? They're saying all these things. And once again, I think when you give into that thought, into that mindset, you're kind of not validating what they're saying, but like, why are you having an argument? Because it wasn't even about that. It was about her boobs. It was about her boobs. It was not about her genes. It wasn't about her eyes. It was about her body, her physical body. They could have done the same thing with like a hot Black woman, a hot Asian woman, a hot Indian woman, a hot Latina woman, a hot woman from Mars. Like, they would have done the same. It would have been the exact same joke. Okay. So that's what I don't get it. So then, people, and then turn it into like, well, is it not okay to be white? Is that what you're saying? And, some of the people online, unfortunately, are saying that it is okay to be white. Don't here in this show, whatever race you are, I don't care less. I couldn't care less. That's probably the least interesting about you. You have so many other aspects about you. So be proud of whatever race you are. Fine. I don't care. But like, and I'm sure, but there are people who do, and I have seen a couple of videos. So sorry about that. But like, that's not even the conversation. So that's the other thing that's like kind of annoying me about it, is like, we're having a conversation about something that wasn't even intended in the ad. So then now, you guys, I don't know if you've heard the update yet, People found her voter registration, and homegirl has been a registered Republican since 2024. This is what they're, well, first of all, this is what they're saying. Okay. So I will say in North Carolina, you can look up people. All you need is someone's first and last name and their county. Oh, no, sorry, just their first and last name. You can find them on voter registration in North Carolina. So, like, there are some states you can do that. I haven't, because I haven't cared enough. I haven't done that. See, you can do that in, I think she lives in California, whatever state she's in. And all the things about, I haven't seen anybody, like, show this. So, for all we know, she could not be. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But most importantly, who cares? Why does this even matter? Why is her registered as a Republican? What does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, who cares? Who cares? Because here's something else I think that people are forgetting. She's on a random, well, maybe not a random show, a popular show. Well, it's not even really on right now. She was on a show. And, you know, not to be mean, she's hot. I'll give you that. Can't act. Okay, I'm sorry. I said it. Can't act. And she's on this show. And, like, I don't care about her, like, she's not going to influence me in any way. And, like, most people, she's not influencing, and she should not be influencing. Why does it matter? Who cares? If she's a registered Democrat, who cares? Who cares? Why does it matter? So now, obviously, now that they found that, you know, now they're here to, this is how terrible it's got. Now they're here defending Sydney Sweeney, who someone I am not a fan of. I hate the bathtub water thing. I will never get over that until she, like, comes out and apologizes. That is the craziest thing. Unless someone has some sort of gun to her head, like, why the freak would you do that? So anyway, y'all have me out here. Now I'm out here defending Sydney Sweeney because, like, whatever, like, who, and she doesn't even talk about politics. You know, if it'd be a little different if she, like, talked about, she doesn't even talk about politics. I don't think I've ever seen her say anything about it. I want to say years ago, there was a picture where people thought that someone in the background of one of her pictures, which is also another crazy thing, like, someone in the background of one of her pictures was wearing a MAGA hat. And I think she came out and said she loves everyone, you know, the generic thing. So it's like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. So yeah, that's my thoughts, my long jumbled thoughts on the Sydney Sweeney thing. I just can't believe, and this is just a little side note thing I want to say. I also think people on the left, and we do it on the right too, I don't think people have understand now that, like, Donald Trump is just a man. He is kind of controlling everything about our lives at this point. Before Donald Trump, her being registered Republican, okay, nobody would bat. Maybe a couple people would say something here and there, but nobody would bat an eye. Now it's a news story. Now could be a career ending because of Donald Trump. We have allowed, as a society, as culture, Donald Trump to dictate. He has infiltrated pretty much every aspect of our life. Why? Like, let it go. He's just a man. He is just a man. Let it go. Okay, that was the other thing I was thinking about that. To make sure, let me think. I think those are all my thoughts. Other thing is, like, I do like Samuel Say has made a good point. Let me read out Samuel Say's tweet. You guys know I love him. I think he does a really, really good commentary on a lot of things. And I think he is Samuel Say. I think he is a great man. Samuel Say. Okay. Slow to write is his Instagram. Okay. He said, okay, I thought I saw something a little more deeper than this, but I mean, it's true. He said, less seen after Sydney Sweeney isn't conservatism. Because that's the other aspect of it. People are like, now we got her on our side, and she's just so young and hot, and man, she's just, conservatism's back. That's another thing I really, 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 really hate, that they keep equating, like, her beauty, her, with, like, conservatism, as if, like, you know, ugliness isn't conservative. And I know that's, yeah. Especially as someone who, you know, wouldn't fit that standard they have. Like, I really, really hate that, like, they make it seem like conservatism is just all hot women are conservative. Like, okay, like, there are hot women that are conservative, sure. But let me tell you, I live in Charlotte. Like, a lot of the hot women are liberal too. That's something, I think I was a tweet or something I saw talking about how, like, in cities, sometimes people think that, like, when you think of a liberal woman, you're thinking of, like, blue hair, you know, morbidly obese, lots of hair on their armpits, blah, blah, blah. But, like, in cities like Charlotte and, like, honestly New York and I'm sure LA, like a lot of the major cities, that is not what the liberal looks like. The liberal is like really hot. One of my friends I'm thinking of, I almost want to say her name, but she'll never listen to this. Really hot. Like, you go places and like she's hit on, like she's hot. So people don't that I just don't like that. I don't like that that's the direction we're going in. I think I've said this before. One of the least interesting things about someone is how they look. I think people have so much more to themselves in their brains, in the acts that they do. I think to me that's more interesting than how someone looks. I couldn't care less. I care less about how you look than I do about your race. Your race can be kind of interesting. I said that's I said that's not interesting as well, but your race can be interesting. But how you look physically, it's an interesting thing to me. Now, obviously, if you have like that girl that does like the really cool glass eyes, okay, that's interesting, obviously. But like the average person couldn't care less. So yeah. All right, next story. I should have done. I'll do it next week. Next and last story. Actually, no. I want to talk about something really quick, and then I'll do the last story. I'm going to talk about this in announcements because I'm not going to do a full-blown episode about it, and I haven't finished the podcast. When I'm listening to this podcast, it's called Liberty Lost, and it's about a Liberty University. They have a maternity home, and I have some gripes in general with like the podcast and everything, and like I just want to air them out really quick. I might ask Melanie to like come with me and review this podcast. First I want to say maternity homes are really important in the pro-life like spear network. We have pregnancy centers, we have activists, we have lawmakers, like family council, advocate, lobbyists. We also have maternity homes. So these are the things that are in our sphere. That's all under the pro-life umbrella. Maternity homes I think are very important because sometimes women, part of the reason why they don't want to keep their children, some of the reasons could be they don't have stable housing. They don't have, especially younger girls, they might not have like a support system. People can be coming out of abusive situations and they need a place to stay. Like a home is something that's important. So I'll speak from my experience. I'll say I started pro-life, like being active in pro-life world, activism, whatever, in 2018. I'll say from what I can say from 2018, because here's the reality of situations. Things grow, people grow, change, and evolve into things better. Okay, that's possible. So since 2018, when I've been active, maternity homes, the ones that I have interacted with, the ones that I know of, have been saving graces for many women. They act as a place for someone to live. You can stay there with your child and keep your child, or you can give your child up for adoption, but they provide everything that you need for no cost at all. Okay, now where are you going to get that? What a blessing it is to be able to take advantage of that resource. One of the resources that pro-lifers use. And let me tell you, pro-lifers are the people working in these maternity homes. It's not pro-aborts. The ones that are like sacrificing and helping and doing that. It's not pro-aborts. It's pro-lifers. So what a blessing. Well, I'll talk about the one that I know of personally. You can stay there with your child up to 2 years, which I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing to be able to have a place to stay, to get settled, to work, to grow, to be out on your own. Because obviously the goal is to give someone a helping hand so that they can go out and be on their own and live a sustainable, fulfilling life. That's really the goal. Sometimes though we fall, like that's the thing. We're humans. Life is not going to be perfect. Sometimes you fall down and you need help up. And as Christians, as people who are want to love and care for our neighbor, this is when we stand up and we help. Okay, so that is the context, right? Well, the podcast is about this maternity home, and it's centered around this woman who is from Charlotte, and the church that she went to, like I know about the church. I was talking to my mom, I was telling my mom about it because I was wondering, because her mom used to work at a pregnancy center, and my mom was on the board of a pregnancy center growing up. So this happened when I was growing up. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they know each other. Look the woman up. Y'all, we have 3 mutual friends. I'm not going to say her name and put her on blast or anything like that, but we have 3 mutual friends, the mom. I was telling my mom about it, and the church, they refer to the church as the mega church. And I was like, blah, blah, blah church is not a mega church. And mom was like, oh, you haven't been recently. It's a huge church. it's huge. They redid it, da da da. So anyway, that's just a side note. So centering around this girl who gets pregnant. Long story short, she and her boyfriend who ended up getting married, but I saw on Reddit they got divorced last year. Sad. They ended up giving up their child, which, I mean, hearing her tell that story, I was sitting in my car crying. It is incredibly sad how she's telling the story, what they did to her, essentially, not good, okay? And I think what my problem with this podcast is, it was clearly not done in good faith, because when the host talks and adds in her commentary, she'll say stuff like, and when the evangelicals could not get people to get behind the idea of non-racial equality, they said, let's see if we can get white men to be in charge of something like that. And it's like, okay, that's not done in good faith. All right, if this podcast was done in good faith, oh my goodness, how impactful would it be? Because, listening to them talk about it, and like, I don't know the women, I don't know people involved in this, giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, I do think a lot of these people really did want the mothers to make the best choice. So at one point she says they're selling babies. And it's like, I don't necessarily think that was the idea or goal behind everybody involved behind that, is to sell babies. But I do think you can do something with the best intention and it still is harmful. I mean, this girl was crying and shaking. I'm going to cry just thinking about and saying she doesn't want to give up her baby, but like everyone's telling she has to, her mom's telling she has to. I mean, how evil, awful, and traumatic that is. Another girl, she didn't really want to, but her mom said she had to. And then, so she does, and then she leaves, and her mom comes and picks her up in a sports car and is like, here, this is your car. You turned 16. I want you to know you have a nice, normal year. And then took her to whatever state's equivalent of Carowinds was. And she said she only got on one roller coaster. And that reminds you, she had a baby like 2 days before this, right? And then she said she was in the hotel. They were going to stay in the hotel until her stomach went down, and they were going to say she was at boarding school. And then she said she woke up hearing this like awful crying and scream. It woke her up from her sleep. And then, oh my God, I'm going to cry. And then she realized it was her, because they didn't prepare her to like give her baby away. She really didn't want, anyway, it's just awful and sad. I mean, I can't, but like, it's so hard for me to imagine that like there are maternity homes out there doing things like that. And like, that was the model before, because like I said, the ones that I'm aware of, like you can even say for like 2 years with your child, and like, and here's the thing too, with the more information we know, Katie Faust is an amazing person on this. We know that kids are so much better with their biological mother and father in the home, raising them together under the umbrella of marriage, as Catholics would say, under the sacrament of marriage. That is the best way to raise kids. Are there people who are raised that way and turn out fine? Yes. Are there people who are raised that way and don't turn out fine? Yes. But the best way is with their biological mother, their biological father, under the umbrella of a marriage, okay? And I think about that. So that's what we know now. So, obviously very pro-adoption, but I do think we should be doing everything we can to give people the support and the ability to be able to parent their own children. And I'm just thinking, like, because the mom and the dad both wanted the baby, and now they're not together. And I just think, like, they're kids, they're 17, 19, but like the son was saying how he was going to work really hard and how he had planned this stuff. And like, you got to listen to the podcast. And oh my gosh, it's making me super emotional. But yeah, like I think about, now they did end up getting married, but now they're divorced. It's like, oh wow, they could have even been together, like that they could have still be together raising their child. And she was talking about how it just like, giving up the child. Anyway, I can't keep talking about it, but like I think that the podcast frustrates me because it's like I like hearing just the people talk and share their story, because I think it's important. I think what happened to them was awful. I hope that it's no longer happening at any maternity homes. If someone wants to keep their child, they should be allowed to keep their child. And what you do is support, especially as Christians. We sit there, we support, we help, we teach them. Okay, these are the things. So I just hope that it's not happening, and I hope that they are able to get peace. I pray for the child, because clearly the son, I'm sure, is going to hear this podcast. They had a boy, and they wouldn't share his name, which I liked, because he's still a minor. I like that. Oh, goodness. Every time I think about it, I'm just like super emotional, because it's just so sad. I mean, you should hear her tell the story of how she did not want to give up her child and how her hands were shaking and she just didn't want to do it. They're like, you have to do it. It's just gut wrenching. Okay, let's do the last story. This is actually from an article, a blog on thoseothergirls.com. One of the things that people are constantly talking about are, if we defund Planned Parenthood, there's not going to be any place for people to go. Well, there are actually 4 alternatives I will give you. There are federally qualified health centers, pregnancy resource centers, pro-life medical networks, and free and low-cost local clinics. The whole list, kind of describing a little bit, and then how you can find these places in your area, are all located at thoseothergirls.com/blog. It'll be titled Beyond Planned Parenthood, Alternatives to Planned Parenthood. I think if you are pro-life and you hear this all the time, click save this link, hold on to this, because this is important. This is a really, like, this is the future. You know, I had Teresa on, and I'm telling you, it made me so encouraged. Teresa was saying how Planned Parenthood is probably not going to be able to recover from this 1 year. They are going to struggle. I mean, Planned Parenthoods are closing right and left, everybody. Right and left. And it's exciting. So, and there is a gap. I'm not going to sit here and act like, be like, haha, you can't get your health care. Like, that's not at all my thoughts. There are places that you can go that do not also do abortions, whose main money is not abortions. There are places you can go for that. And I think that is what we need to be encouraging. That is how we help our neighbor. That is how things will get better. So, if you head over to thoseothergirls.com/blog, Beyond Planned Parenthood, alternatives to Planned Parenthood. I'll read them off again. Federally funded health centers, pregnancy resources, pro-life medical networks, and free and low-cost local clinics. And there are links to how to find one in your area. I think that's it for the show. There's one more article. So for the month of August, like I said, we're talking about other girlies in the cubicles. So I am going to give like a fun fact, a tip, or something like that. I'm going to be giving one of those at the end of all of the Teacaps. So stay tuned. This is the one for this week. I'm calling it the Cubicle Corner. Okay. This week's Cubicle Corner tip. You don't need to wait until you're fully qualified to apply for a job. If you meet 60% of the job description, you should go for it. Men do it all the time. Be bold, be confident, and just do it. This is something that I have been trying to do myself. It's just remember, like, I struggle with that personally. If I feel like if I don't hit bam, 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 they're not going to hire me. But, I mean, they say men do it all the time. We should be applying for jobs, and even if we don't meet every single qualification. I applied for a job, didn't get it, but I applied for a job that, like, wasn't in my field at all. And they asked, like, if I knew some sort of something or another, and I own YouTube. I own YouTube. I own a computer. I mean, I kind of own YouTube. I own a computer that I can YouTube. I can figure it out. Like, there are just so many things that we can, I think those of us who are trying to find new jobs and things like that, I think we all continually should be still applying for jobs that we don't think we qualify for. So, that is my tip for the week. This is your Cubicle Corner tip. I couldn't remember what I named the segment. This is your Cubicle Corner tip for the week. All right, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, all of that jazz, wherever you listen to podcasts. And leave me a comment. Let me know. Are you going to be Venmoing the government? What did you think about Cindy Sweeney's ad? Did you think it was about genetics and eugenics? And did you think that her genes were nice? Let me know about the T app. Were you ever on there? Do you know someone? Have you ever been on one of those Facebook groups and saw someone you know? Okay, here's something. I saw someone I knew who I did not like, and all the comments were negative about them, and they're not a good person, so I didn't say anything. I didn't like her comment. I left it alone. But they were all right. Everything on there about that person was right. Has that ever happened to you? Has that app helped anyone you know? Like, did they find out their spouse was cheating on them or anything like that? Let me know in the comments. In the comments on YouTube or Spotify, and then leave a review if you enjoyed this episode. Let me know if you're excited for the new series. I'm excited. I cannot wait for everybody to hear the new series. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening.